so Radiance knows where it needs to measure the sort of the lighting performance. The way I'm going to demo this to you is I'm just going to make the just with a simple room, yeah, because it doesn't matter what we use here. You know, you could follow this tutorial with a Revit import if you wanted. So standard workflow, file name. Right, string, documents, grid. I'm going to call that. I'm making so many random folders here over my computer, but never mind. And we need to. We've got this far before, haven't we? And we're going to see we're going to see our model here. Now, so when we go on to the third one, make a grid. Let's take a look at this. So if it's got a dash, there's a predefined set, and what I've done is I've loaded in here, these are like kind of generally, like if you're doing an office or something, that's a table height. Convention is you use these defaults. As I keep saying, it's your responsibility to check that these preset values are applicable to your project. So Radiance file address, we marry those up, and now it's saying give me a reference surface on which to make the grid. And what's that saying is you give me a surface, and what I will do is arrange calculation points at these spacings at this height off that surface and this offset off the edge of that surface. So we're obviously going to want to use the floor as our sort of reference surface. So the way we do this is this here is like the Radiance model. What do I need to do here? Model, anything, just type model. No, type model. Right. Okay, so now if I just plug that in, switch that off. Right. And so this is literally the model. It looks like a box because there's no you can't actually see the separation. But now if I go item at index, right? And what this is it will pick an object out of a list of objects, yeah? And this is a list of objects. It is a list of floors, walls, ceilings, and windows. So if I plug that in and then I say, let me just switch that up, and I say, give me object 1. See that? So basically it's the shell, isn't it? It's like it's the exterior of our room. It's the roof, the exterior walls with holes for the windows and no floor. If I say number 1, what is that? I don't know. That's actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. If I just put in here outline, model outline. Yeah, right. So we've got some reference context. So that's the interior ceiling, yeah. And I happen to know also if you look here, I've made it easy for you because it already lists these things. So ceiling is 0, exterior is 1. Let me make a point. Number 3. If I put number 3 in here, if I put number 3 into here, it is going to be the glazing. Oh, it's already done it. It's the glazing. Yeah, and number 2 is the floor. Okay. All right, so we don't need that anymore. So now, as I said before, as we were being asked, give me a reference surface on which to make the grid, and I'm saying, well, this is your reference surface. There's the grid. So perhaps we probably don't need this anymore, do we? And then we have a few more options here where we can say, well, what is, like I say, what is the grid height? I think this is kind of self-explanatory, but grid spacing, yeah, grid height, yeah. So you've got full control over that, and you're not going to believe what happens if I put in like grid offset 3 meters. Yeah, it offset the grid by 3 meters. Yeah, so you've got full control over your grid, but I would imagine like 80% of the time it's just going to be a grid like that, isn't it? So that is how you add a grid to your Radiance model, and here's a grid on the floor. Okay, and on to the calculation next.